You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hey everyone, welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. One piece of business, if you haven't sent in your listener-submitted questions for the 50th episode to our site, email, or the Google Voice number, please do so soon. The deadline is April 1st. On today's bonus crossover episode, we welcome the hosts of the Freaky Franchise podcast, Theo and Cordie. They were nice enough to send over some horror movie-themed trivia questions for us to answer today, so thank you for that. Before we get to the questions, let's hear Theo and Cordie talk a little bit about their show and what new listeners can expect.
Hi, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff, and hello to all of the Triviality listeners. I'm Theo.
And I'm Cordie.
And we host Freaky Franchise, a horror movie podcast where we watch horror franchises all the way through.
It's a lot of fun.
We are also sisters. I'm 22, Cordie's 17.
About to turn 18 next month. Happy birthday to me.
Mm-hmm. And we come from Salem, Massachusetts, so we've kind of been spooky pretty much our whole lives, I would say.
I was definitely born spooky.
So Cordie, do you want to tell everyone how we started this podcast?
Yeah, this summer we started with our parents, which was interesting, watching all of the Friday the 13th movies. And we just thought it was fun since they were all on demand to see them progressively get worse and worse as the series went along. And we've been thinking about doing a podcast together. At the time, it just seemed like it was a perfect fit. And we've been doing that since August, and we're having so much fun. We're on our third franchise. We really love it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so far we have watched Scream, which is 4 movies, Halloween, which is 8 movies, and we're just now doing The Ring, which is only 3 movies. So one thing that we like to ask on the podcast to all of our guests, and that we like to talk about a lot, is a question that I need Cordie to ask, because she does it a whole lot better than I do.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So Cordie, what is your favorite scary movie?
My favorite scary movie is probably Scream, the movie which that line is from. I love it because it's like so 90s, so cute. I love the mystery aspect of it, and just like all the fun plays on all the cliches. And I also just really love Skeet Ulrich. Billy Loomis.
My favorite scary movie is The Haunting, the original 1963 version. Not the one from the 90s. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But yeah, I would say I'm more of the classic film fan. I like Hitchcock movies and sort of the original Hammer monster movies. And that was sort of how I got into horror in general, was I liked classic film originally, and then I started watching classic horror. Roger Corman's also great. I love those really bad B movies. Cordie, do you remember, like, the first scary movie you ever watched?
No. Probably, like, Halloween Town.
Okay. Does that count as scary?
I don't know.
Were you scared of Halloween Town?
No. I watched scary TV shows before I ever watched scary movies. So, like, MTV had for a while, had a lot of crappy, like, stalker serial killer shows, you know? Eye Candy starring Victoria Justice was one. Loved that. So from there, I just started sort of watching the original slasher movies like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I guess that's how I got into it. Which is probably why Scream's my favorite, because those are all the ones I know the best, is those silly slasher ones.
So we thought that since we are big fans of the horror genre and we know a decent amount about it, we would come up with some horror movie themed trivia questions for you guys. There's 12 questions in all. The first 11 questions are pretty just straightforward, one answer, and then the 12th question is a multi-part question. So you guys can sort of figure out you can do your usual point system, however you would do that.
So, Neal, we're probably going to have to lean on you pretty hard for these, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys here, they don't watch a lot of horror movies, but I'm a big fan of horror movies. So I'm sure you guys, I would hope you would know some of them because some horror movies are pretty famous and maybe they'll lean on those questions, but you never know. They could go pretty esoteric with these questions.
Yeah, I kind of dabble in the genre a little bit. You said you have a basic knowledge of them, but you don't go too deep, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love horror movies, but I don't have them cataloged in the back as much as other movies.
Yeah, maybe your brother more so.
Yes, yeah.
If we get like a Troll 2 or a Dr. Giggles, I might be able to help out a little bit because that's sort of my genre is B-movie horror movies.
I mean, weirdly, I don't like watch a lot of movies. Famously,
what?
Why are you here for this bonus episode?
Jeff's here for the craft service.
No, I'm just playing. I love your presence here in the studio.
Well, I've actually seen quite a few horror movies. That I don't like horror movies like as a genre, but I end up seeing a bunch of them. I remember, I mean, any Jason movie is usually decent, for a little while. I mean, they're all fun.
The Happening.
The Crappening.
I enjoyed The Ring when I was younger. And
no.
Global warming, huh? Yeah.
All right,
the first Paranormal Activity is really good.
All right, maybe we should answer some questions.
Yeah, let's
How's
go back
that
to the
sound,
ladies. Back to the ladies.
All right, let's see what you got, Theo and Cordie.
So question number 1. Serial killer Ed Gein inspired 3 major horror movies. Name 2 of them.
Okay, I can help you with the Ed Gein here, Neal.
Oh, you can. I know it, but you can go ahead.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah,
well,
go ahead.
one.
There's no point then in adding the flavor text.
No, you got to go ahead.
All right, so Ed Gein was a serial killer famous for butchering women who looked like his mother and wearing parts of their bodies as articles of clothing. Famously, he had a belt made of lips. And so he was quite a brutal fellow, and apparently he had a few Oedipal issues.
What's that song that you're playing in the background today, Neal? Is that Goodbye Horses?
Oh, it might be. I am dancing, but I'm not going to go as far as Buffalo Bill did.
All right, so Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs is one. And the thing about Ed Gein is he's the inspiration for a lot of film characters. I'm guessing you guys are going for the 3 most famous iterations of it, but there's many films that have used him as inspiration because he was a pretty crazy dude. A friend of mine and a friend of the family, Chuck Perrello, did a movie called Ed Gein that was really great that you guys should check out.
That one's probably based on him, right?
That one is definitely based on Ed Gein.
It's based on partially true events.
Yeah, it's actually about H.H. Holmes, but they just call it Ed Gein because they
I think I saw that one in the video store.
Yes,
there were video stores.
Yeah, it's a face of Ed Gein, and then half of it is a skin face.
Wow.
So check that out, Chuck Perrello. But
he did have a mommy mask.
That's right. Ken is correct. Silence of the Lambs would be our first official answer. You have to go the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Tobe Hooper masterpiece. And the third one is going to be Psycho, which would be Norman Bates.
Because of the mother
angle.
Yeah. All right, let's go with the answers.
Those are our official answers. Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The answer is Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right.
Well done, Neal.
These movies were all inspired by Ed Gein and his large, terrifying collection of objects made of human skin. So that's disgusting, but okay.
Yeah, we went right for human skin. Just start off with the grossest one.
Yeah.
This girl's 17, right?
Yes.
Talking about the serial killers. That's great.
Yeah, Cordie, it sounds like you have a good knowledge of these horror movies, which is great because a lot of parents won't let kids watch horror movies. I watched when I was younger, but I feel like you have to get a good education of horror movies when you're young.
Yeah, if these are rated R, this had to have been very recent viewings for you, I imagine. So.
She just saw them last week.
Yeah.
And we get a good detail of Neal's horror movie viewing and R-rated movie viewing childhood on MOVIEALITY.
On MOVIEALITY, you're right. That's our sister podcast. So you guys should check that out too. And we're going to have you guys on for an all horror episode. Let's go to the next question.
Okay, question 2. Neve Campbell was not the first choice to star in the Scream films. Who was originally supposed to play her role?
Isn't it Drew Barrymore or?
Drew Barrymore is in Scream 1.
I know, but I believe she was supposed to be
that makes sense.
the main character, and then they switched it.
Like she was going to be the main one. Maybe they switched it, and then they're like, I'll give you a cameo.
They killed her in the beginning because they thought it would be like the most shocking to kill the main character first, or like the most famous person.
Like Psycho.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
That was my first thought, was that I think that was what it was supposed to be. I'm not sure though. If you guys have any other thoughts.
I'm good with that.
All right. I guess we're going to go with Drew Barrymore. Why not?
The answer is Drew Barrymore.
Hey.
Nice. Well done, Matt.
Barrymore decided shortly before filming that she couldn't play Sydney and asked instead if she could play Casey, who only appears in the beginning of the film. Casting directors approached Alicia Witt, Brittany Murphy, and Reese Witherspoon before casting Neve Campbell.
It's funny about Reese Witherspoon, even though she didn't get the role in Scream, she did kind of star in a horror movie with Mark Wahlberg when they did Fear, which they're going to be remaking with the gender swapped. But it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, she basically had to run away from Marky Mark, so it's pretty scary.
Hey, you scared? Are you scared?
Hey, say hello to your mother for me.
Cordie and I, along with horror movies, watch a lot of really bad Hallmark Christmas movies. And there's one starring Alicia Witt that is genuinely terrifying.
Watch it, please. What is it called?
I believe it's called The Christmas List.
Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, so if you're in the mood for a seasonal, unintentional horror movie, I would 10 of 10 recommend. Question number 3. In the film Halloween, Annie and Laurie drive through town smoking while, unbeknownst to them, Michael Myers follows. What famous spooky song is playing on the radio while they drive?
Monster Mash, right? It's not Monster Mash.
I'll teach you not to smoke.
Yeah. Man, that's a really good question, actually. I never even thought about what song was playing.
Do you have the tune in your head at all?
No, I don't.
Do you know if it was something hokey like Monster Mash or some like...
I could see Carpenter going with something hokey, yeah, like Monster Mash or something, doo-woppy from...
Some like ABBA?
Yeah, because, I mean, it could be an
Dancing
ABBA.
Queen.
I mean, it was from the 70s.
They said spooky song, so...
Yeah.
It's spooky.
It's pretty spooky, yeah.
It's not that spooky.
I mean, well, yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Monster Mash, I guess? I mean,
I think that's her best guess.
Monster Mash is my favorite Halloween song. So.
Okay.
Was Halloween 1 after Thriller? What about Thriller?
It would have been before Thriller.
Before Thriller?
I feel like Thriller would be very expensive also. To
yeah,
put
that's
in.
true.
Yeah,
Let's go with Monster Mash.
Monster Mash, official answer.
Answer is Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. And that song was the perfect match for the scene, since the girls were literally being followed by the film's image of death. So...
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. I still don't... I can't pull it. Like, it makes sense, though. I'm going to have to rewatch that scene now. And
I heard you have a fever.
the only prescription is more cowbell.
Gosh, here we go. The
impressions. Too many.
Yeah, a little bit on the nose, but also, like, such a good song.
Number 4. Jason Voorhees is famous for his hockey mask that he wears. But he did not have it for the entirety of the 10-film franchise. In which movie did Jason acquire his famous mask?
Yeah, so a lot of people, this is a great fact, a lot of people think that the hockey mask is Jason's iconic headwear for all the films. But spoiler alert, if you watch the first film...
It's not Jason.
It's not Jason, it's his mom. Mm-hmm. It's Pamela Voorhees. And in the second one... Pam. The second one, Jason wears a sack on his head, and he's got overalls and sort of a flannel shirt.
Did you dress like that intentionally today, or is that just coincidence?
Yeah, I like kind of going around the city of Chicago when I'm on the train, and I like wearing hockey just to fit in with people.
Yeah.
Not to scare anyone.
So what's the answer?
Well, the answer is going to be Friday the 13th Part 3, I believe. But we're going to see what they tell us. So what do you got?
And just so you're aware, this explanation does have spoilers for the first Friday the 13th movie. So if you don't want to have that spoiled for you, just skip ahead like 30 seconds. But the answer is Friday the 13th Part 3. Jason is not in the first film at all, and in the second film he wears a pillowcase over his head. He gets his mask partway through the third film when he kills Shelley, the class clown who was using the mask to scare one of the girls.
I hate Shelley, by the way.
Yeah, I was glad when Shelley died.
And
Strong opinions.
If you don't want to be spoiled, also go back a minute in time and unlisten to that time when Neal spoils the first two movies as well.
Yeah, sorry. I'll add an extra spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
No.
Okay, there we go.
No, there's a statute of limitations. It's past.
25-year-old movies.
Oh, probably 40.
I forget how old I am.
Question number 5. Room 237 is an iconic part of the movie The Shining, but it isn't in the book. What was the original room number?
Oh, no, that's a hard one.
This is a hard one. Jeff, do you know?
I haven't read the book, unfortunately.
Could it be something kind of basic like 666 or
Yeah,
something?
that
like
had occurred to me, or
I think it's actually
like 222 comes up a lot in movies.
I think it's like I want to say like 243 or 319. It's like a really.
It's just a random number, yeah.
It's
Because
a random number.
I heard stories about where there's the hotel that it's supposedly whatever based off like that's the room number that actually people want to rent. I guess I don't know, but I don't remember the number.
And it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's probably still in the 200s.
And Kubrick, just being the perfectionist that he is, like the other number better.
Yeah, well, there's a whole documentary about it, too.
I know, it's not the best made documentary, but it's very, very interesting about all the conspiracy theories about The Shining. I don't buy them, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of it could be conspiracy, but...
So let's go with...
Well, there was some psychological torment going on with one of the actors.
One of the multiple.
Jeff brought up the number 217 for some reason, so I don't know. You want to just go with it, Jeff?
Sure.
Okay, we'll go with 217.
The answer is room 217.
Wow.
The Timberline Lodge, where the exterior shots were filmed, had a room 217. They requested that the room number be changed because they were concerned no one would want to stay in the room, which is fair.
Jeff, good poll there. I know you said you saw the trailer for the movie. I don't know if that's something you looked up for a question to quiz me or what on
Could
the
be.
show.
I don't remember.
Maybe from our Halloween episode.
Sometimes things just make their way back into your brain. You don't know where they're from.
Well, Jeff, like he said, he famously doesn't watch movies, so I don't know. That was a pretty good poll.
Number 6. The film Child's Play came out in 1988. Chucky was based on a doll that was incredibly popular at the time, hoping to scare parents by using something similar to what was already in their home. What brand of doll was the inspiration?
Isn't it that stupid bear that talks?
Teddy Ruxpin?
Teddy Ruxpin.
That's probably right. I can't remember the name of the actual doll. I think it's like My Buddy.
Was that
My buddy.
The
right?
Cabbage Patch Kids that ate things, those were the terrifying ones because they would like get a hold of human hair, and that would be the
Chucky
end.
looks more like a Cabbage Patch Kid, but it's probably the Teddy Ruxpin, right?
Because it was talking, and I think that was.
And the dying Teddy Ruxpin was always the terrifying one.
Right. Yeah, be more. Yeah.
Friends to the end.
I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like My Buddy or My Buddy doll, but
My Buddy is a doll from that era. It was like, I think that was like the boy Cabbage Patch.
This is one of my favorites too, and I should know this, but I mean, Matt's probably on the right track because it is a mechanical doll. So we could probably just go Teddy Ruxpin.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys are good with that. Okay.
Yep.
And the answer is Cabbage Patch Kids. And another horrifying fact about Cabbage Patch Kids, the Wikipedia page refers to them as, quote, soft sculptured doll-like creatures, which is about the worst way possible to describe them.
I actually had a very scary ghost experience with a Cabbage Patch doll. I was babysitting. Yeah, literally. No, I was babysitting, and I put the baby to sleep, and I was downstairs on their couch. And I was sitting there, and there was not a Cabbage Patch doll on the couch with me. And then, I looked down at my phone, and a few minutes later, I looked back up, and there was a Cabbage Patch doll on the other side of the couch.
Doesn't surprise me, since they're not dolls, apparently. They are doll-like creatures.
Yeah!
Yeah, I went to the Wikipedia page to check, when those toys came out, and, how popular they were when, and I found that. And all I could think of was, we've actually been to the Cabbage Patch Kid factory.
It's a really surreal place.
It is, and now it's even scarier than it was upon visiting.
If you guys over there at Freaky Franchise want to see something really creepy, people are buying things called werepups. They look like little babies that are werewolf. It's really creepy.
Have you seen the super realistic little babies too? With the baby
yes,
dolls?
Yeah.
Those are weird.
You have to see the werepups because people online thought they were actual demons, but someone was like, no, you just buy them in a store. But they're on trains, and it's really creepy. It's werepups.
This episode brought to you by Werepups.
So on to question 7. It's well known that Reagan's projectile vomit in The Exorcist was made using pea soup. What brand did they use?
That's Chris Plummer's Best.
Chris Plummer's Best.
So the joke is that anywhere Max von Sydow appears, we'd say Chris Plummer and vice versa.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think who would make pea soup. It's got to be a famous brand, right? Like Campbell's. Do they make pea soup?
Yep. I'm sure they do.
Or at least did.
I mean, because that's the famous thing with Psycho is that they use Hershey's syrup.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they didn't use Hershey's. They used crap, I can't think of it. A different brand. But anyway,
chocolate syrup.
Chocolate syrup.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't think of another company that would make pea soup.
I mean, Campbell's is the big soup.
Yeah.
All
Progresso.
those are newer though.
Yeah.
Campbell's been around a while, right?
Yeah.
And I know I don't see pea soup coming from
What
Campbell's,
about,
but that was
Green Giant.
You know.
Do they make? They don't make a split.
No. Let's just go with Campbell's.
Campbell's. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna go with Campbell's pea soup.
Answer is Anderson's pea soup. The crew tried Campbell's, but felt like the effect was not as impressive.
The famous Andersons.
Fair enough.
Did you say they use Campbell's?
Yeah, they tried it and then they didn't like it.
Oh, I get, and see that's another thing. Campbell's could have been synonymous with the.
They could have been the official vomit of The Exorcist.
They could have been. Andy Warhol's dream.
And really,
For
when
some
it comes to
reason.
projectile vomit, impressive is the word you're looking for.
Ew. Number 8. You would think that a hellhound wouldn't be something people want in their homes. But after The Omen came out, the breed used for Damien's dog surged in popularity. What breed was it?
Pretty sure. Can I get a dog breed question?
I'm waiting.
Yeah, well,
is it a Rottweiler?
I think it's either a Rottweiler or a Doberman Pinscher.
Dobermans
are much sharper featured.
I'm pretty sure it's a Rottweiler.
But no,
though.
yeah. So I know I think it's brown and black. And
I've seen the movie.
that's
It's
gonna
like
be
a
a
bigger,
Rottweiler.
thicker dog.
Yeah, I would lean towards Rottweiler. I'm just saying for the record, it could also be a Doberman. I think it's brown and black.
I would have to know. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I've seen The Omen. How big the dog is? Because it could be like an English Bull Mastiff and other stuff too.
Because Cujo is definitely, I don't believe is a Rottweiler. Cujo is like a mutt, but I like that answer.
Yeah, I mean, Rott sounds okay
because those did surge in popularity when people got them as like a guard dog.
Yeah. You can redeem your history of dog questions.
Let's go
here.
for the redemption. Rottweiler.
All right, little background. Ken missed an Irish Wolfhound question, so let's see if he can redeem himself.
Not the only one.
The answer is Rottweiler.
Hey.
I'm back, baby.
It's not clear if people wanted them because of the portrayal as a servant of Satan or in spite of it, but either way, Rottweiler ownership went up following the movie's release. Question number 9. The shower scene in Psycho is one of the most famous scenes in film history. What room number was Marion Crane staying in when she took that shower?
I think it's 1.
I think so too.
Because it's right next to the office.
There weren't a lot of.
How many rooms could they have?
They did not have a lot of
It's
rooms.
a motel. They tend not to be.
I think they had
too high a
They had
number.
like 12 or 13, but I think she's in room number 1.
Yeah, because they don't have any other guests.
No, and he goes into
And
his office.
he's like going into the office to peep through the wall, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good question. I thought you guys were going to ask how many cuts are in the famous
I mean,
shower
somebody's going to the office to peep through the whatever.
Right.
Not Norman Bates.
Not Norman Bates.
No.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So statute of limitations on spoilers. So
yes. Yeah.
All right, let's get the answer.
And the answer is room number 1.
All right.
Okay, good. We were overthinking it.
The only room where Norman Bates would be able to spy on her from his office. That's upsetting. Number 10. The film Sleepaway Camp has some obvious connections to Friday the 13th, but it was also inspired by a Weird Al song. While not a parody of any specific song, it features elements from Thriller by Michael Jackson, Funeral for a Friend by Elton John, and Black Sabbath. What was the name of the song?
Weird Al song?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the movie was inspired by the Weird Al song or the Weird Al song was
he had a bunch of like original polka songs, but I'm trying to remember what the
I don't know
what any of them are.
I don't really do Weird Al, so
white
it's up
and
to you
nerdy.
guys.
He's fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Occasionally.
I'm also not sure if we're trying to figure out the Weird Al song.
I think we're trying to figre out the Weird Al song.
Okay.
But
And
I
it had-
think regardless, we have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
How about?
So I think you might have gotten us here, ladies.
Yeah, that's definitely a weak spot. So we're gonna tap out on that one.
Yeah, the song "Freaky Franchise." Maybe.
Yeah, Freaky Franchise Polka.
Sounds great.
And the answer is Nature Trail to Hell. The song describes the plot of a movie in which a serial killer attacks a Cub Scout camp. It also features the line, Satan eats cheese whiz, said backwards.
I love songs that say stuff backwards. It's literally so
Yeah,
creepy.
Cordie's big on subliminal messaging.
If you play the Dora the Explorer theme song backwards, it says Hail Satan. So
No, it doesn't.
whatever.
Question number 11. There has never been a real-life serial killer who murders children through their dreams, as far as we know. But A Nightmare on Elm Street was inspired by real events. What disease was the jumping-off point for Craven's franchise?
So I know Wes Craven, he read an article in a newspaper that inspired the movie.
Wasn't it? I mean, it was about like night terrors, but I don't.
Yeah. I don't know the name of the medical
maybe
name.
Maybe sleep apnea?
Yeah, there's...
No, it was probably something that would...
it's how about sleep paralysis? Because that's when you can't move, but you think someone's coming to kill you.
It's a disease.
It says it's a disease.
Right. I have sleep paralysis.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, we all
How
do.
horrifying. I don't.
It's terrible.
Don't tell me about it.
It's terrible.
I know all about it.
You know what? If
Freaks me out.
you know what it is, it's not that bad.
Well, for me though, I've had things where I'm sitting here and in a dream I got stabbed and I woke up and I couldn't move and my back hurt where I got stabbed and then it looks like someone was coming in the room. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I've woken up a few times in full sleep paralysis. It's amazing.
Jeff.
It's terrifying.
I'm just shaking my head right now.
You're fully awake, but you can't move a muscle in your body.
So
scariest thing I ever saw was a thing on Netflix called The Nightmare. And
Yeah.
it's just about sleep paralysis.
watch
It's not
that.
even scary, but it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
As soon as I realized I'm still sleeping, I'm able to wake myself up. So it's not bad. It's just a thing I live with.
So I do know for a fact he had an article. He put it up on his desk, and I think it was still there until he died. What inspired the movie, but I can't think of the.
I think this would be more of a disease that causes fever dreams.
Yeah,
you know,
because I think he got it from
like scarlet fever or
it's
rabies.
From a foreign country.
Rabies
too.
is interesting, although rabies isn't that prevalent. I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
I feel like because he did the serpent and the rainbow, and I think he found the article in a foreign country because someone died when they were dreaming. I think
being bitten by a tsetse fly. What's that one?
Malaria.
Malaria. Let's go malaria.
I think malaria is mosquitoes, right?
Yeah, who cares?
There's another one.
We'll go malaria. Why not?
Show me malaria.
That's a really good question. I have no idea.
And the answer is sudden unexpected death syndrome, or SUDS. Craven was inspired by a series of articles in the Los Angeles Times detailing the strange deaths of a group of South Asian refugees. Young to middle-aged healthy men with no signs of heart disease were dying in their sleep or shortly after. SUDS was first noted among this refugee group in 1977, but has since been noted in other groups of South Asian descent, suggesting that the deaths were not related to the trauma the refugees experienced. So did they never figure out what was causing it?
Not exactly, no. They think there might be a genetic predisposition to it, but I could not find anything that positively said what it was.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And number 12.
So this is the 5-part question.
Many of the best-known horror movies started out with different titles. Match the original title to the movie that everyone knows. And the titles are Scary Movie, The Babysitter Murders, Long Night at Camp Blood, The Birthmark, and Head Cheese. And those are Scary Movie, The Babysitter Murders, Long Night at Camp Blood, The Birthmark, and Head Cheese.
Scary Movie is definitely Scream.
Right.
Yeah, I believe
because that's why they parodied it with Scary Movie.
100%.
Birthmark, Rosemary's Baby, or
that sounds right. I think
who's got the birthmark?
Wasn't that Omen?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, yeah, it could have been the Omen.
Does Damien have the birthmark?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, Damien has the mark of the beast. Yeah,
okay.
so that we'll go the
So
Omen for that. We'll go for Scary Movie for Scream. I'm almost positive Camp Blood is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already forgetting the other ones.
Head Cheese.
Head Cheese.
And the Babysitter Murders.
All right, Babysitter Murders. Babysitter Murders is Halloween.
Okay.
and head cheese is probably Hellraiser.
That makes sense too.
I think. I think it,
or was that Pinhead?
Yeah, because his name's Pinhead. Although maybe not. Head cheese could also be Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking Texas Chainsaw for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100%. I'm just kind of
Or if it's like some.
You guys know what head cheese is, right?
No, what is it?
Yeah.
Jeff?
It's a food.
Yeah, it's like a disgusting like mishmash of leftover parts of animals.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically like a meat stew pudding.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
It's
like.
gross.
Oh, well, then we got to look at a movie that has someone who makes...
Like it's like really gory. It's like if you beat somebody's face.
Yeah,
to a
but it
pulp.
could be like a tongue-in-cheek.
Right.
Like, so if something like Dawn of the Dead, something where...
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead would be good. Or, I mean, Ken is on the right... I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he is like a butcher.
Yeah, if he pulps people, basically.
Let's go with Texas Chainsaw on that.
Okay, and we had one more, right? We missed.
That was it.
We're good.
Okay, so we said Scream, Scary Movie, Birthmark, The Omen, Head Cheese, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Babysitter Murders, Halloween, and Camp Blood, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So the first one, Scary Movie, was the working title of Scream. The second one, The Babysitter Murders, was the working title for Halloween. Babysitter Murders just makes me think of the Babysitter's Club combined with murder.
Yeah.
And I know that Halloween came out first, but I'm very glad that the two are not connected. Long Night at Camp Blood was the working title for Friday the 13th, and Camp Crystal Lake is often referred to as Camp Blood throughout the movies. The Birthmark was the working title for The Omen, and Head Cheese, the weirdest one I found for sure, was the original title of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Right. 5 for 5.
Yeah, great job. Once Jeff explained what head cheese was,
I explained what head cheese.
Or I guess you did. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Jeff said a food.
Once Jeff agreed with what head cheese was, we knew we were on the right track.
It wasn't a movie about the Green Bay Packers, that's for sure.
Okay, well, that is all our trivia. There's no more.
We hope you guys had a fun time playing. We had a really fun time coming up with questions.
And thank you so much for having us.
So you can find our podcast, Freaky Franchise, on iTunes, Stitcher, and freakyfranchise.com. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/freakyfranchise, Twitter at freakyfranchpod, and Tumblr at ffpodcast.tumblr.com. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks for recording that and sending that in to us too.
Yeah. Thank you to Theo and Cordie of Freaky Franchise. Make sure you guys check them out. If you can, if you're listening on our channel or their channel, you're already listening. So
continue listening if you're on their channel.
Listening. It's great that there are people doing podcasts about horror movies, which everyone loves horror movies, but to have a cool podcast like yours where you guys are talking about them each week and actually going through a franchise movie by movie is pretty great.
Yeah, the questions were good too. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really great writing on those questions.
Thanks, guys.
You can never have sex. Big no-no! Big no!
I'm a dead man.
Even in popcorn. Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. No, the sin factor. It's a sin. It's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
You see, you push the laws and you end up dead. Okay, I'll see you in the kitchen with a knife.